So let us continue our discussion with the KTU model question paper for module 2. So from part A we have the question state and prove maximum power transfer theorem for 3 marks. So draw the circuit. It consists of a voltage source Vs with source resistance Rs and load resistance RL. So according to the maximum power transfer theorem, the source resistance Rs must be equal to load resistance RL, then only maximum power will be transferred from source to the load. So in order to prove that, we first write the equation for power, which is I squared into RL. And instead of I squared we can write V divided by the total resistance, which is Rs plus RL. Then to find the maximum power, we have to take the derivative of that and equate it equal to 0. We will apply the differential of two terms and we will get like this. So on cancelling the unrequired terms, we will get Rs is equal to RL. So that is the proof. We got that for maximum power, Rs has to be equal to RL. Then the maximum value of the power is given by substituting Rs is equal to RL in the denominator. So we will get V divided by RL plus RL, the whole squared into RL. So this will become 4 RL squared. RL gets cancelled and finally we'll get V squared by 4 RL. This is the value of maximum power called Pmax. Next question. Evaluate the Norton's equivalent current in the following circuit. So to get the Norton's equivalent circuit, first of all we have to short circuit to get Norton's current. So when we short circuit, it means that the 1 ohm resistance will not have any effect because that is parallel to a short circuit. So all the current will be flowing only through that short circuited path where IN is flowing. So we can actually remove that 1 ohm and we can redraw the circuit like this. So here if we try to find out I, which is same as IN, and 2I is the voltage source, which is a dependent voltage source. So voltage minus, if you write the KVL in that loop, we will get 2I minus 5 into I is equal to 0. So the value of I will be 0, which means that the Norton's current is 0. So Norton's equivalent circuit is actually a current source which is in parallel with internal resistance, but here there is no current source itself, so we need not go to the next step. So there is no equivalent circuit for this question that is given to us. Next is part B. We have a question for 7 marks. Find the current IY by superposition theorem. So here we have got 3 sources, 2 voltage sources, that is 120 volt and 40 volt, and we have a current source which is 12 ampere, and we have been asked to find the current IY. 10 IY is a dependent source, but that we need not consider separately. We have to consider the 3 sources, that is 120 volt, 12 ampere and 40 volt separately, and then we have to find IY in each of the cases and finally add them. So that is superposition theorem. So first we are going to consider the 120 source alone. So while we are considering the 120 volt source, we will open circuit the 12 ampere and we will short circuit the 40 volt. So the circuit will look like this, and from here we can find out what is IY dash. So just write the KVL equation and we can just solve for IY dash, and the direction of the current is from left to right. So it is 5.45 ampere. Next case we will find that for 40 volt source alone. So in that case we will short circuit the voltage source, that is 120, and again we have open circuited the current source which is 12 ampere, and again we will get a loop a simple loop where using KVL we can find out what is Iy double dash. So we will get minus 1.82 ampere and the direction of the current is from left to right that we have assumed. Next we are going to consider the 12 volt source alone. So the other two voltage sources we are going to short circuit, and here we have got two meshes, and not only that, this 12 ampere source is in between two meshes, so we have to apply super mesh situation. So here consider the two meshes. So we have to write the equation for the combined two meshes, that is the two meshes combined will be over here, that is minus 4Iy triple dash minus 10y triple dash minus 8I2 is equal to 0. So we will get equation number 2, and equation number 1 actually tells us that I2 is in the same direction as that of 12 ampere, whereas I1 is that of the opposite direction. So we have to write I2 minus I1. Whichever has the same direction as that of the current source, we will write that first, and the second one we will write that of the other current source, which is I1, is equal to 12 ampere. And on solving equation 1 and 2, we will get Iy triple dash, which is same as I1, which is minus 4.36 ampere. And the direction of that current, you can see that it is again from left to right, that is in the clockwise direction. So the total current by superposition theorem is that we consider the three sources separately and we consider that response and we add them. So all the three currents we are going to add. So when we add them, all the direction of the current is also the same, which is from left to right, so we can easily add them. Otherwise we'll have to subtract if it is in the opposite direction. So we are going to add them and the net current is going to be minus 0.73 ampere. Next is a 7-mark question from part B. Find the Norton's equivalent circuit across the port AB. So here the circuit may look slightly complicated. So what you can do is, you can just rotate this part, that is the left part of the circuit. So if I'm going to mark these points as C and D, and these two are already given as A and B, if you rotate, what will happen is that C and D will come to the bottom, A and B will go to the top, and 5 ohm will go to the top, then J2 ohm will remain like that, and 10 angle 0, the arrow is downwards. Now when you rotate, it will become upwards, which means that the positive will be on top and negative will be at the bottom. So now the circuit is simplified, and in order to find the Norton's equivalent circuit, you can just short circuit the path between A and B. So once you short circuit A and B, all you have to find out is the current I3. I3 will be same as the Norton's equivalent current IN. So we can write KVL equations for all the three meshes. We are considering clockwise current in the first two mesh, and for the last mesh it is okay that you can consider clockwise also, but since in the question it is given positive on top and negative at the bottom, and the current flows from the positive side, we are going to consider in the anti-clockwise direction. So we are going to write the three equations. We will use the matrix method and the Cramer's rule in order to just find out only I3. We need not waste time to find out I2 or I1. So using Cramer's method, we can just use a calculator, and you will get the answer I3 is equal to 2.32 angle minus 166 degree. Then next step is to find the Norton's impedance. So Norton's impedance, you have to open circuit that path. So here the voltage sources at either of the side are also short circuited. Then the circuit will look like this. So once this is done, 5 and J2 are in parallel. Similarly, minus J1 and 4 are in parallel. And once this is calculated to be 10J by 5 plus J2 and minus 4J by 4 minus J, these two will be in series. So you can just add and the final result will be this. So this is going to be your Norton's equivalent circuit. So we have found the current IN, and also in parallel to that place the Norton's resistance. So we will get like this. The next question from module 2 is a 14-mark question. So you have to determine the maximum power delivered to the load in the circuit. So the load is ZL, and in order to find the maximum power delivered, we have to find the Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So the Thevenin's equivalent circuit is found out by open circuit the element through which we have to find out the resistance. Then you can just apply KVL to the two loops that are present over here, and you will get equation 1, and similarly you will get equation 2. Using Cramer's method, you solve that and you will get VTH is equal to the value, that is the resistance across 3 plus J4 into current. The current is given by I2. So we have solved for I2, which is given by 0.625 minus J 1.875. Okay, and if you multiply that, you will get VTH is 3 plus J4 into 0.625 minus J 1.875. So the final answer will be 9.88 angle minus 18.4 volt. Next step is to find out the Thevenin's impedance, and this can be found out by short circuiting the voltage. So ZTH is actually the value that is got from the right hand side. So here 10 and J15 are in series, which is parallel with minus J10. So you'll get the answer 8 minus 14J. This is in series with 5 minus J6, and that value is finally parallel with 3 plus J4. So finally you will get ZTH is equal to 3.96 plus J 3.46 ohm. And for maximum power transfer for an AC circuit, the value of ZTH has to be the complex conjugate. So 3.96 minus J 3.46 ohm has to be taken.